Did you catch any intentional details in the Spider-Man movie through the Spider-Verse, specifically for the fans? Spider-Man is definitely one of the most popular heroes worldwide, and to test if the fans were truly connected to Marvel and Sony, they included several really cool references in the second movie of Miles Morales' Spider-Man. For instance, when Miles Morales is running away from all the other Spider people, we see this scene. It's a clear reference to the ship scene in the movie Spider-Man Homecoming, where Tom Holland's Spider-Man does this. And that, in turn, is a reference to Spider-Man 2, where Tobey Maguire's web slinger did this. So it's a reference within another reference.
I understood that reference.
You can tell the level is high today, right? And there's a lot more where that came from, which we've gathered for you, whether you're already a fan or becoming a fan of Spider-Man. But before anything else, just a heads up, the video contains a lot of spoilers, so enjoy it. The death of Uncle Ben. And this is not the only time we're going to talk about the first Spider-Man of the movies. He also appears briefly when, among several scenes, the moment from the first film in 2002 is shown, over 20 years ago, where Peter is with his Uncle Ben, and he passes away, and Peter blames himself for what happened. That was the starting point for the career of the Spider-Man in that trilogy. Clearly Venom. Yeah, folks, the third and final film of this Miles Morales trilogy has been confirmed, and now the speculations begin. One of them, which has gained a lot of strength, is the presence of Venom in some form in the next film, since, if you didn't notice, the Venom movie universe was mentioned in the film. When the Spot was visiting different dimensions and universes, he visited a certain shop, Mrs. Chen's, the same shop that appears in the movie where Tom Hardy is the host of the alien symbiote.
Oh, don't be a big baby. Go help your friend.
He said I couldn't get a job fixing toilets.
And just to make it clear to the fans, the interdimensional villain even grabbed a gum called Venomite, just to make it very clear that it was indeed the Venom universe. Scarlet Spider. One of the spider people who manages to catch Miles while he's on the run is the Scarlet Spider, and you can tell from the scene that he has comic book style features. Besides the comics, the character also appeared in the 1994 animated series, and he also appeared in the Ultimate Spider-Man animated series. In fact, he is a clone of Peter Parker named Ben Reilly, who takes on the Scarlet Spider mantle for a while until he passes away. Another cool detail for all the fans, Doctor Strange and Universe 199,999. The Marvel Cinematic Universe that we see in the movies is the 199,999 universe, and we see Miguel O'Hara making a reference to this universe that sparked the superhero genre's resurgence in pop culture. He mentions Doctor Strange and the nerd from Universe 199,999. The nerd he's referring to is Tom Holland's Peter Parker, which references everything that happened in the movie No Way Home, where the multiverses almost collapse. But thanks to that, we were able to see the three Peters reunited, and it was really awesome. And if there's one thing all the Peter Parkers from the movies are, it's pretty smart, meaning they are superhero nerds, which is really cool.
Oh my god, this is so awesome.
Tragedies upon tragedies. And unfortunately, as Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man 2099 explains, and all the Spider people understand well, each of their lives is marked by different tragedies, always involving the death of some uncle or police captain. That's why there's a reference to the 2002 Uncle Ben, but there's also a reference to Captain Stacy from The Amazing Spider-Man in 2014. Where we see Peter lamenting the death of Gwen's father from that universe, the Spectacular Spider-Man animated series. Still talking about the Spectacular Spider-Man, but this time about the animated series that preceded Andrew's films. We have a very clear reference to the teenage version from the cartoon when he tries to convince Miles to accept the loss of his father. The appearance is a pleasant surprise for fans of that animated series, Spider-Man from the 1960s. But that wasn't the only animated series of the hero to be referenced. There's also a clear reference to the first animated series of the Web Slinger from 1967, the same one that brought the iconic scene of the Spider-Men pointing at each other.
That man's an imposter. That man is the imposter. There can't be two Spider-Men.
Let's take them both in.
He appears when Miles is running away from the other Spider-Man, but to be honest, he doesn't really help much. I have to confess that I missed a reference to the 1994 animated series. I mean, at least I didn't see one. But if you saw any reference to that series, please comment down below. And to let us know that you're enjoying the video, put #Spider in the comments. Here's a triple, and at the same time, triangular reference. Are you ready? The character of Miles Morales is relatively recent, as he was created in 2011, long after Peter Parker, whom the master Stan Lee created back in 1962. The detail is that part of the inspiration for the creation of the first Black Spider-Man came from this guy here, Donald Glover. The actor, comedian, and rapper appeared in the TV show Community, wearing that pajama of the friendly neighborhood, which ended up inspiring Brian Bendis to create this new version of Spider-Man. That's because, at the time, some Donald fans campaigned on the internet for the actor and rapper to portray the hero in The Amazing Spider-Man, which ended up going to Andrew Garfield. But wait, there's more. Nevertheless, Donald appeared in Homecoming as a criminal, none other than Aaron Davis. As you can see from the information that the tech suit provides to Peter, Aaron Davis is the same character as Miles' uncle, which means he is the Prowler, information that is also shown in the description given by the suit if you look closely, really closely. But wait, there's more! In a certain moment of the movie Into the Spider-Verse, we see several villains imprisoned, and one of them is precisely the live-action version of the Prowler, played by Donald Glover from Homecoming. In other words, the guy who inspired the creation of Miles appeared in the first film of Tom Holland's trilogy, giving an early spoiler of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which would be released shortly after. And in 2023, the same guy makes an appearance as the live-action version of the main villain from the Miles Morales movies, but this time in animation, while also inspiring the existence of the hero, but at the same time playing his uncle's role. Anyway, you got it. By the way, there's also a version of the Prowler as Miles Morales, as we see at the end of the movie. Man, this messes with my head. The first Spider-Man comic. In fact, since we mentioned the Honorable Stan Lee and the creation of the Web Slinger, we noticed a quick reference to the hero's first comic book, Amazing Fantasy number 15, right at the beginning in Miles Morales' room when Gwen shows up to invite him for a hangout. There it is, while Miles enjoys some music. Undoubtedly, a beautiful tribute to where it all actually began, as without this comic, there wouldn't be so many movies, cartoons, games, and animations of Spider-Man. J.J. Jameson. If there's someone who really hates Spider-Man and isn't a supervillain, that someone is J.J. Jameson, the owner of the Daily Bugle, the newspaper where Peter worked as a photographer in some universes. And we see some references to him and his newspaper throughout the movie. He was portrayed by actor J.K. Simmons in the first Spider-Man trilogy. He also appears in the very end of Far From Home and during No Way Home. The cool thing is that throughout the film, you can hear the actor's voice in this scene from Into the Spider-Verse when Gwen remembers the death of her best friend, the Peter Parker from her universe.
Now, says Captain George Stacy leads the manhunt for Spider-Woman. Who is she? And why won't she show her fake Peter Parker?
And also in the Lego Spider-Man universe, where he is Peter's boss in Lego form.
Boss, I'm
Shut up. Get out of here.
Got it, boss. I'm on it.
Seems like this guy is a pain in the neck in every universe. Daily Bugle. Since we're talking about the owner, let's also talk about the newspaper. We can see that in the same Lego universe we just mentioned, the newspaper with the same design as the one from the first Spider-Man 3 movie from 2007 appears on the mural with Dr. Octopus's headline, a clear reference to the scene from the original trilogy, The Best Sandwich in Queens. When the villain Spot is looking for a place to rob, we see some locations that come up as options, and among them is the deli grocery. Any Spider-Man fan surely remembers that scene where Peter speaks Spanish with the owner of the mini-market, and it's hilarious. And that's exactly the same deli grocery where they sell the best sandwiches in Queens. Laughing at the villain. Since we mentioned Spot, we see that when he says his name to Miles, he finds it funny because the name sounds kind of ridiculous.
I am the Spot. We meet again, Spider-Man.
But for those who enjoy Spider-Man comics, You may know that the hero did the same thing in the series Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man in 1984. He burst out laughing when the villain said his name, and since then, the villain is rarely taken seriously despite being very powerful. Saving Gwen. Before the Miles Morales movies, the Spider-Man movies that really gave importance to Gwen were Andrew Garfield's The Amazing Spider-Man films. And the scene where we see Miles save Gwen and Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse 2 is very, very similar to the scene where Peter tries to save Gwen in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Rise of Electro. But this time, the ending was much less sad, thankfully, but it's definitely a cool detail for the fans. Those were just a few of the details for the fans in Spider-Verse, and there are definitely many more. If you noticed any other ones, share them with us in the comments because we'd love to know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos. Until next time, bye-bye!